Coffee Break Italian, Season 2, Episode 11. Buongiorno a tutti e bentornati. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Break Italian. Io sono Mark.
Ciao a tutti, sono Francesca.
Ciao, io sono Isla.
We're back with another episode for you. This is the second block of our Season 2 lessons. Allora, Francesca, come stai?
Io sto bene, grazie, Mark. Tu?
Ah, sì, sto benissimo oggi.
E tu, Isla?
Sto bene.
Okay. In this episode, we are going to be starting something new. Di che cosa parliamo oggi, Francesca?
Oggi parliamo di aggettivi.
Aggettivi. Isla, any ideas?
Yes, I think we're talking about adjectives.
Adjectives, absolutely. Adjectives and the agreement of adjectives when they are combined with nouns. We had been talking a lot previously about verbs, but it's time to move things along and change our focus for the next few lessons. Ma c'è qualcos'altro, Francesca?
Sì, una novità. We are back with our caffè culturale.
Our caffè culturale. We'll tell you a little more about that later in the lesson. Now, if you are wondering about adjectives, you may want to have a quick review of lessons 29 and 30 in Season 1, where we first introduced them before we continue with this lesson. But if you're ready to begin, allora cominciamo.
Sì, mettiamoci al lavoro.
E io vi ascolto.
Allora, Francesca, in this presentation section, cosa facciamo?
Cosa facciamo? Allora, oggi rivediamo gli aggettivi.
Mm-hmm.
Ok.
Gli aggettivi, so
sì.
Adjectives.
Adjectives, sì. Abbiamo già imparato gli aggettivi nella Season 1.
Ok, so we've already learned, abbiamo già imparato gli aggettivi in Season 1.
Sì, ma oggi vogliamo rinforzare un pochino quello che già sappiamo.
Ok, so this is quite tricky stuff here. Oggi vogliamo rinforzare un po'.
Sì.
Okay, so we want to rinforzare. Forza is strength. Mm-hmm. Rinforzare, to reinforce.
Esatto.
Quello che già abbiamo imparato.
Sì, quello che già sappiamo.
Quello che già sappiamo, okay, that which we already know. Perfetto. And we have a fantastic conversation coming up in this part because I'm off clothes shopping, which is a little bit hilarious, I have to say. Okay, so let's think about our adjectives. We've already seen some adjectives in Season 1. Can you give us some examples of those adjectives?
Sì, we learned, for example, alto, alta, basso, bassa.
So that would be tall and small, basically?
Sì, o piccolo, piccola.
So little in that sense. So basso would be height-wise small, but piccolo could mean small in the sense of a small book or something like that.
Sì, in terms of size. Uh-huh. O bello, bella, brutto, brutta.
Molto importante.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now we've also seen the fact that these adjectives all change depending on what they're describing. So let's go back to the small book I was talking about there. How would we say a small book? I wonder if our listeners can remember this. A small book. Francesca?
Un libro piccolo.
Un libro piccolo. And if it were a small house, then we would talk about?
Una casa piccola.
So piccolo, piccola, it changes depending on what we're describing. And that also happens in the plural, of course. So let's change our adjective this time. Let's talk about a tall girl.
Una ragazza alta.
A tall boy.
Un ragazzo alto.
But in the plural form, how would we say two tall girls?
Due ragazze alte.
Listen to what happens with the adjective there. Two tall girls.
Due ragazze alte.
So the letter there, written down in English, is the letter E. Of course, in Italian, it's got the E sound, alte, due ragazze alte. And if it were two tall boys...
Due ragazzi alti.
So listen again to the ending.
Alti.
Due ragazzi alti. Here, we're using the letter I in English. Again, in Italian, that sounds E. So let's just go through those one more time. A tall girl.
Una ragazza alta.
A tall boy.
Un ragazzo alto.
Two tall girls.
Due ragazze alte.
And two tall boys.
Due ragazzi alti.
Okay, so far so good.
Sì,
That's all revision, per
Sì.
rinforzare.
esattamente.
But there's also a different type of adjective. That's the type of adjective which ends in E.
Sì,
Can you give us an example, Francesca?
sì, ad esempio giovane.
Giovane. Now, I wonder if our listeners can remember what giovane means. Can you give it as an example of the word giovane in a sentence?
Sì, Isla è una ragazza giovane.
Okay. I don't know what that means in terms of and we are not.
Esatto.
So, Isla è una ragazza giovane. She's a young girl. Giovane. In this case, we're talking about Isla, and we're talking about the fact, obviously, she's female. We need a feminine form of the adjective, but that adjective doesn't change.
Sì.
So if we were talking about, for example...
Mark.
Mark non è un ragazzo giovane. But the adjective form doesn't change. However, when we're talking about plurals, then something does happen.
Sì. E due ragazze giovani e due ragazzi giovani.
So listen again to that one. 2 young girls,
Due ragazze giovani,
2 young boys.
due ragazzi giovani.
So the ragazze changes to ragazzi, but we don't have a change in the word for young. In this case, both end in the letter I. Giovani.
Sì.
Okay, Francesca, some other examples of adjectives like this, please.
Sì, allora, vediamo forte. We talked about rinforzare prima. You mentioned forza, so forte, strong.
Strong, yeah.
Intelligente, veloce, felice, triste, grande, divertente, tantissimi.
Tantissimi,
Sì,
yeah.
sì.
Let's just run through these again. You said forte, which is strong.
Sì.
Then you said intelligente, which is clever.
Sì. Veloce,
That would be fast.
sì. Felice,
Happy,
triste,
sad,
grande
big,
e divertente.
amusing, enjoyable.
Sì, sì, sì.
Okay. So in each of these cases, we use those versions for the singular, and for the plural, the e on the end, that's the letter E on the end, changes to an I.
Sì, perfetto.
So if, for example, we wanted to talk about 2 clever men,
E due uomini intelligenti,
okay, or 2 happy women.
due donne felici.
So listen carefully again. 2 happy women.
Due donne felici.
So even though it's donne, the singular is donna,
Sì,
due donne felici.
sì, perfetto.
So the E sound there because the singular form of the adjective ends in the letter E, which sounds like E.
Sì.
It's a little bit complicated.
It is, and it's very important for our listeners not to think that they want the same endings for nouns and adjectives, because it's easy to say una casa bella and we have a, but it's not always the case. So don't look for the same endings.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, if you're watching the video version of this lesson, you'll see all of these adjectives written out in full, and you'll be able to see exactly what's happening with these A's and E's and I's and O's and all kind of things.
Sì.
Francesca, there's also another category of adjectives, isn't there?
Yes, the only two you really need to worry about here are probably blue.
Which means blue.
Sì, sì, difficilissimo.
Very difficult.
E rosa.
Meaning pink.
Pink.
So if we were talking about a pink book, that would be...
Un libro rosa.
Okay, so watch that one. Rosa doesn't change. It's always rosa, even if you're talking about a masculine thing.
Sì.
Okay. Now, I promised at the beginning that we are going to go through a dialogue in this episode, and that's in which I'm going to be shopping for clothes. I'm sure you're all delighted to be coming shopping for clothes with me.
Exciting.
Let's go through some common clothes vocabulary that we've not really looked at for a few lessons. Can you run through some words that we might be needing in this conversation, Francesca?
Sì, con piacere. Pantaloni,
Okay, of course they would be trousers.
maglia.
Would that be a jumper?
Sì, jumper, sweater.
Sweatshirt,
sì. Maglietta,
That would be a t-shirt.
t-shirt. We also use t-shirt in Italian, just in case. Gonna.
Una gonna, a skirt.
Sì. Camicia.
That would be a shirt.
Sì. O camicetta.
Would that be a blouse?
Sì, perfetto. Vestito.
A dress.
Borsa,
A bag.
sì. Scarpe,
Those would be shoes.
sì. Cravatta,
Oh, a tie.
sì. E calze.
Calze are socks?
Socks,
Yeah,
sì,
calze.
sì, sì.
Okay. So, what is the setup here with the conversation?
Ok, so we are in Milan.
Milan, a good place to
Sì,
go
a
shopping.
Milano. I'm a shop assistant.
Which must mean that I am going shopping. I'm doing the
Sì.
shopping. Okay, let's have a listen to the conversation. It's quite a long one, but you're going to hear lots and lots of adjectives. Of course, we will go through the full conversation in our notes and we'll explain some of the aspects after our conversation.
Buongiorno, posso aiutarla?
Salve, vorrei una camicia.
Certo, di che colore?
Che colori avete?
Abbiamo camicie bianche, azzurre, verdi, gialle, di tutti i colori.
Wow. Posso provare una camicia azzurra, per favore?
Che taglia porta?
Di solito porto una L.
Una L? Ecco a lei.
Grazie. Okay, I'm off to try on my shirt.
Allora, come va?
È un po' piccola e anche un po' stretta.
Forse deve provare una taglia più grande, una XL. Però abbiamo solo camicie blu e bianche di questa taglia.
Ok, provo quella blu. Ok, so I'm trying on my dark blue shirt.
Va meglio?
No, mi sembra un po' larga e anche troppo scura. Preferisco un colore chiaro.
Perché non prova la camicia bianca allora? È un modello classico e disponibile in tutte le taglie.
Va bene. Ok, trying on the white shirt now. Questa camicia è perfetta, la prendo. Vorrei anche un paio di pantaloni un po' eleganti.
Vediamo un po'. Questi pantaloni blu sono molto eleganti e vanno bene con la camicia bianca. Questi neri invece sono un po' sportivi e più informali, ma vanno molto di moda.
Ok, provo quelli blu. So, trying on the trousers now. Oh, sono molto comodi e eleganti.
Benissimo, desidera altro?
Sì, ho bisogno di una cravatta.
Allora, abbiamo cravatte rosse, rosa, verdi, marroni, azzurre, ma anche a righe, a fiori e a pois.
Preferisco le cravatte tinta unita.
Secondo me la cravatta verde è perfetta per lei.
Sono d'accordo. Quant'è in tutto?
Sono 185 euro.
Mi fa un piccolo sconto?
Va bene, ma solo perché lei è un cliente affezionato.
Okay, quite a long conversation, and I even managed to get a discount at the end.
Bravissimo, Mark.
But the shop assistant was very nice, what can I
Sì,
say?
molto, molto.
Okay, we're not going to go through the whole of the conversation now. We'll do that in our notes, but we will mention a few things. First of all, I was looking for una camicia, which is, of course,
A shirt.
a shirt. And the shop assistant said that they have shirts in different colors.
Abbiamo camicie bianche, azzurre, verdi, gialle.
Okay, lots of different colors. You recognize those colors. And notice that we're talking about le camicie, feminine plural,
Sì.
and the adjectives have the feminine plural forms. Bianche, watch that H in there if you're looking at our written version. Azzurre, verdi, gialle. So, of course, the singular form of verdi is...
Verde
That
is a
one changes.
two-ending
Yeah.
adjective.
So, a two-ending adjective. I like that.
Yeah, four-ending adjectives, two-ending adjectives,
There we
and
go.
invariable adjectives.
I like these categories. Okay. So we tried to get the shirt for me. The first one I tried on was a little bit piccola and un po' stretta, a
Sì.
little bit tight. So I needed to try the larger size. But there was not the same range of colors. There were only white and dark blue or darker blue
Sì.
shirts.
Abbiamo solo camicie blu e bianche.
Okay. So I ended up not really liking the dark blue shirt because it was troppo scura,
Sì.
a bit too dark.
Too dark.
And I finally ended up with the white shirt. After that, I was looking for pantaloni, some trousers, and I had two options. What were the two options, Francesca?
Sì, questi pantaloni blu sono molto eleganti e vanno bene con la camicia bianca.
So dark blue trousers, which are very elegant and go well with the white shirt.
Esattamente. Questi neri invece sono un po' più sportivi e più informali, ma vanno molto di moda.
So my other option were black trousers, which were a little more sporty and informal, but very fashionable. Obviously, just describing me perfectly.
Perfettamente.
Okay, so I tried those ones on and decided to go with them. And then I also wanted una cravatta. What kind of cravatta did I end up going for?
Una cravatta verde.
So a green tie to go with my blue trousers and my white shirt.
Sì.
Molto
alla
elegante,
moda.
alla moda. And did you get the full price in the end?
185 euro.
Okay, that was the official price.
Sì.
We didn't hear how much of a discount I managed to get, but that would be 185 euros in total.
Sì, esatto.
Okay, there's lots to say about adjectives. Some adjectives work exactly as we've seen. Some have some slight spelling changes. And some, most importantly, don't follow that pattern of coming after the noun. But we're going to be talking about them in our bonus lesson.
È un punto grammaticale molto interessante.
Molto interessante.
Sì.
Okay. For now, let's take a break and we'll be back in just a moment to practice what we've been working on with Isla.
Interrompiamo questa trasmissione per una comunicazione importante. If you'd like to make faster progress with your Italian, don't forget that you can use the premium version of this course, which features video versions of the lessons, comprehensive lesson notes, and bonus listening materials. Allora, cosa aspetti? What are you waiting for? If you'd like to take your Italian to the next level, go to coffeebreakitalianplus.com.
Allora, bentornati. Welcome back. Isla, how did that go?
Yes, I think I'm getting my head around it all.
We will be putting you to the test in just a moment, along with all our listeners, of course. Now, Francesca, hai detto che torniamo con questi...
Il caffè culturale.
Il caffè culturale. Allora, can you explain a little about some of the things that we're going to be talking about in the coming episodes in our caffè culturale?
Sì, certo, in italiano.
Come no?
Sì, ma nei prossimi episodi di Caffè Culturale parliamo di diversi aspetti dell'Italia e dell'italiano.
Okay, so just so that our listeners and Isla are getting this, diversi aspetti della cultura italiana.
Sì.
So different aspects of Italian culture.
Come ad esempio l'italiano parlato in Svizzera.
Ah, dov'è la Svizzera?
Is that Switzerland?
Sì, certo.
Sì.
Allora, l'italiano parlato in Svizzera.
In Svizzera, oppure alcuni personaggi famosi.
Ok, Isla, cosa sono i personaggi famosi?
Would that be a famous person?
Yeah, so
Celebrity?
famous people, yeah, so celebrities, people who are well known, personaggi famosi.
E anche una cosa che mi piace moltissimo, i mercati.
Ah, i mercati. Isla, cos'è un mercato?
A market?
A market, sì, un mercato. Allora, i mercati italiani sono Italian markets.
Sì.
Ok, benissimo. Now, that's all coming up, not in this episode, but starting next time, we've got a cultural correspondence segment, a caffè culturale next time, so you can look forward to that. However, now, let's move on and talk about these adjectives in greater detail with Isla. Okay, so we've been talking about adjectives. Francesca, perhaps you could just give us a quick summary of the three different type of adjectives that we've covered.
Sì, one category of adjectives is called four-ending adjectives, meaning they change the ending according to gender and number. For example, allegro.
Allegro is a nice word. Isla, do you know what allegro means?
I'll have a guess that it means happy, cheerful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Allegro.
merry.
Merry. Merry. In the normal sense, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So, allegro, that would change depending on the noun. So can you give us the four forms of allegro?
Allegro, allegra, allegri, allegre.
Perfetto.
Sì.
Okay. So those are the four ending adjectives. What else do we have?
And then we have the two ending adjectives, meaning one ending for the singular and one ending for the plural. And we're not really concerned about gender here.
Okay, so Isla, can you remember what the normal ending is for the singular?
E.
That's right, the letter E.
Yes.
It's always a little complicated. It's the letter E, but it sounds E. Okay, so the plural ending would be the letter
I.
I. Okay, right. Francesca, give us an example of one of these.
Sì, we did Allegro, so felice now.
Okay, another nice happy word. So
Sì.
if it's the singular form is felice, what would the plural form be?
Felici.
Perfetto, felici. Okay, and Francesca?
And then there are also adjectives which don't really change, invariable adjectives. For example, the color rosa, pink.
Yeah, so no matter what we're describing, it's always rosa.
Sì.
All right, so let's see if we can just come up with some simple translations here. The noun plus the adjective. Okay, Francesca, can you give us some things, or give Isla some things to translate here?
Okay. A big house.
Let's give Isla and our listeners some time.
Una casa grande.
Sì, molto bene. Una casa grande.
What about another one?
A red jacket.
Try that one, Isla.
Una giacca rosa.
Now, careful, it's not rosa because that would be pink.
Rosa.
Rossa.
Rossa.
Double S sound. Rossa. Una giacca rossa.
Una giacca rosa.
Okay.
Let's see with some numbers. 3 small dogs.
Okay, so we need to watch this one. 3 small dogs, which of course in Italian becomes 3 dogs small in the plural form. So try 3 small dogs.
Tre cani piccoli.
Brava. 3 cani piccoli. Okay, try one more.
2 strong girls.
Oh, okay. This is a tricky one. 2 strong girls. Again, 2 girls strong, but what's your endings here? 2 strong girls. Try that, Isla.
2 ragazze forti.
Brava, sì. Okay, there we've got to think about the ragazze. The singular girl is ragazza, 2 ragazze. But because forte is one of those 2 ending adjectives, it ends in the letter E. In the plural form, it becomes forti, ending in the letter I. So, 2 ragazze forti.
Okay, Mark, Isla is doing really, really well. So I want to do one more.
Okay.
Can I?
Dai.
Okay. A pink rose.
Trick question. Well, not quite a trick question, but see if you can work that one out. Do you know what a rose is?
Is rose the same word as pink?
That's correct. So, what would it be?
Una rosa rosa?
Sì, una rosa rosa.
Una rosa rosa. Okay.
Okay, so let's now put all these words and nice adjectives and colors together. And I want to have a short conversation with Isla.
Okay, off you go.
Ok. Isla, vai in vacanza quest'estate?
Sì, certo.
Ok, e dove vai?
Vado a Malaga in Spagna.
Ah, Malaga, wow. E senti, ho una domanda. Cosa metti in valigia?
Isla, do you know what the word valigia means?
I think that's a suitcase.
Yeah, a suitcase. Allora, Francesca's question was...
Sì, cosa metti in valigia per andare a Malaga?
So what are you going to put in your suitcase? Now, we're putting you on the spot here. You've not really had time to prepare any of this. So what we're going to do is pause the recording, give Isla a chance to think up some things, but the condition, Isla, of pausing the recording is that every single thing that you explain has to have an adjective. You can't just say a swimsuit. It has to be a beautiful swimsuit or a red swimsuit or something like that. Okay, va bene?
Va bene.
Sì, noi prendiamo un caffè.
Prendiamo un caffè. And we're back. That was a bonus break in this one while Isla prepares her packing list for your holiday to Malaga. Isla, allora, la domanda è cosa metti in valigia?
Ok, allora, metto in valigia 3 magliette bianche, una gonna corta.
Una gonna
una gonna corta e una gonna lunga.
Ok,
Sì.
molto elegante.
Sì, Malaga.
Una camicetta a righe.
Oh,
Sì.
ok, una camicetta a righe.
Un vestito elegante.
Mhm.
Un costume da bagno blu.
Mhm.
And Francesca, there's one thing I know I won't be able to go on my holiday without, but I'm not sure how to say it.
Ok, go on.
It's sun cream?
Okay. I was getting a bit worried there. Sun cream, si dice crema solare.
Crema solare.
È molto importante.
Sì, soprattutto per voi ragazzi. Siete un po' bianchi.
Oh, no, there's a perfect example.
Sì.
Bianchi, B-I-A-N-C-H-I. And it's an interesting one because the ending has to change to make sure that we still get the K sound, the hard K sound. We've got a C-H-I. Sei pronta per le vacanze, Isla?
Sì.
Well, not quite. You're not quite ready. C'è qualcosa che hai dimenticato. There's something you've forgotten, and that is your downloads of Coffee Break Spanish so that you're completely ready for Malaga.
Of course.
Buone vacanze allora.
That's it for this episode of Coffee Break Italian. We hope you've enjoyed it. And of course, there's more Coffee Break Italian at coffeebreakitalianplus.com, where you can access our bonus materials, including the video versions of the lessons, the lesson notes, and the bonus audio.
And don't forget, you can keep up to date with us on Facebook. That's at facebook.com/coffeebreakitalian.
And if you are on Twitter, you can find us at Learn Italian.
We'll be back again next time with more adjectives, some specific adjectives next time.
Sì.
Until then, grazie e arrivederci.
Ciao a tutti.
Ciao, ciao.
You have been listening to a production of the Coffee Break Academy for the Radiolingua Network. Copyright 2017 Radiolingua Limited. Recording copyright 2017 Radiolingua Limited. All rights reserved.